Lee, what's your thoughts this afternoon? Obviously, Ipswich Town 1, Leicester 1, lots to talk about.
How can I follow that?
Where's your poem, mate?
Yeah,
where's Leandro's poem?
It would take me a week to write one line. One line.
That's just your name.
I can't do that. Frank's very, very clever. Very clever player.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah, well, just I missed the start of the show, so apologies. But
don't worry about it.
The VAR, yes, it's VAR. It really, really annoys me to the point that it doesn't make it. It was meant to solve all the problems, but it doesn't. Instead of talking about on-field decisions, we're now talking about VAR not referring things. VAR can be there to do things such as the ball going out offside, okay, clear cut, where the law is simple. Football rules, the football itself is simple, but the rules are not simple. What's handball? What's not handball? What's a shove? What's not a shove? What's a penalty? What's not? VAR cannot solve those issues. So why have it? Just let the on-field referee decide with the linesman. Simple as that. What's clear and obvious? Was it clear and obvious last week where the foul was committed for the penalty? No, but it got referred. What was clear and obvious this week was the fact that Chapman was bundled over, and that would have been a free kick anywhere on the pitch, anywhere else. Now,
agreed.
I've seen two angles. I've seen the angle from the co-op stand side, the angle that the ref would have had, and it looks, you could say, that there's maybe a tiny bit of doubt there because of the way Chapman goes into the tackle. He's basically protecting himself. You can see the guy coming into him, and he turns after he's moved the ball. But when you see the view from the Cobbold side, which is what VAR is meant to do with all the cameras, it's just blatant. He's just bundled him over, and it's not got referred. So So the guy.
I think he was referred. I think he was referred, Lee. I think
but it wasn't referred to but it wasn't. But
you mean down onto the referee to go and look at it again?
Yeah. So of course VAR will look at it, but again, it's down to discretion on whether or not you stop the game and go to the on-field ref and say, "Oh, you might want to have a look at this." If he has a look at that angle, there cannot be any referee that would not give that as a penalty.
Yeah, agreed.
I agree.
Get it from the other side. If the ref's got a different angle, so be it. Then that's going to happen. But the fact is, it just didn't get referred, or didn't get referred to the on-field umpire. So, what angles did VAR use in the studio in their bit? Did they just see the one angle from the main camera and say, "Oh, that's gone"? Because the review was over pretty quick. So how many camera angles did they see? And this is where it breaks down. This is absolutely where it breaks down. Now, what I would like to see, and this is quite controversial, is I would like to see, like in cricket, where you have a referral, where the team has a referral. There's 30 seconds to turn around and say, "Chapman, I've been bundled over here. I want you to refer that," and have one, and if and have it that way, because we would have referred the one at Man City where Leif Davis gets sived down. That didn't get referred, but the first one does. Decisions can be decisions. If we'd have had VAR against Norwich last season at home, we would have not conceded that first goal because he was miles offside. But you live with it. You just live with it.
Yeah.
Either have it or you don't. And that's really got my go. I try to be measured and calm, but that bit really peed me off.
It's funny. It just made me think, like, when you say like clear and obvious, that is the paradox of the laws of the game, because nothing now is clear. Nothing's clear and obvious about whether it's a handball, what a foul is in the box, outside the box.
That's what it's saying earlier, isn't it?
It's laughable. It's laughable.
So with VAR in like other sports, it's obvious. Like cricket, you have the on-field umpire.
Yeah.
You have the on-field decision. So if the ball is more than half, either way, then it's overturned, which is what you want. But it stays with the on-field umpire in cricket. So if the ball is just clipping the stumps, and he gives it LBW, or doesn't give it LBW, but it's just clipping the stumps, you don't overturn the decision because it's not clear and obvious. There was some doubt there in the umpire's mind, but that keeps the game on the field. The game's being refereed by someone sitting in some porter cabin in the Shetland Islands, wherever it might be. And it's just, it's just not right. But and it really deflects from the game yesterday. And what another great performance! Every player was every player was on their mettle. There wasn't one weakness
Agreed.
yesterday. Johnson was brilliant. Morsey had his best game. I've been sitting here saying, "Oh, I'm not sure he's in the best two midfielders,"
Very
but
good.
he stepped up to the plate yesterday and was superb. Connor Chaplin, he's got to play every week now because he links the play, doesn't he? He keeps us all nice and he keeps the structure there. And when he moves over to the right to support Amari, they don't know whether to go with him. So I think we see that the patterns of play work better when he's there, and of course that leaves Amari on the right hand side. So I think the experiment of Amari in the middle, I'd be surprised if we see that again with the form that Chaplin's in. But our players just seem to bounce off people. We haven't got the physicality of some of the teams, and that is a problem. I mean, Chaplin bounces off a couple of people, and Amari bounces off. Wes Burns for the goal bounces off.
It's only Delap, isn't it? It's only Delap where everyone bounces off him.
Yeah, well, yes.
He's bruised up today.
What I don't understand is why the officials don't ever work as a team. You know, why they always act as if they're individual officials when they're actually supposed to be a team. You know, that linesman's looking directly at that incident.
Well, that's interesting point you make that, because on the live feed, Martin, on the international feed, Connor gave the fourth official right earful. They worked as a team there because the referee come over and give him a yellow.
Oh, they got no problem dishing out yellow cards.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, you know, earlier in the game, you had a referee overruling the linesman for a throw-in. But this incident particularly, what is the linesman looking at if he's not looking directly at what we're all looking at? Yeah. Because he's got to be looking at the ball to know for an offside. So he's got to glance at the ball, glance at the last man, glance at the. So what's he looking at? Where is he? Where's his eyes?
He sees these things, or they see these things. But I think the protocol is not to stop the game. He's got to be sure, he or she, the linesman's got to be sure that the referee has missed something. So maybe that's the problem. But that angle where he is, where Chapman gets bundled, you know, you could flag that, and even the linesman could flag that once the play breaks down. It's a bit like flagging offside. You let the passenger play out. So when we get the free kick on the edge of the box, the linesman can flag and say, "Do you know what, ref? I think I think you've missed something here. Refer it. I think you should refer it." But he doesn't.
Are we getting into a situation, Lee, where the officials now are, when it comes to a contentious issue, where it's a 50-50, they're not sure. They're allowing VAR to take charge of that situation. So if we don't give it, VAR will check it, and if we're wrong, then they'll tell us, and if we're right, the game will resume. Are we now, giving too much power over, referees subconsciously? Maybe, but when it comes to that, like 50-50, where if you're not sure, just don't give it, and VAR will check it anyway. Are we getting into that situation, do you think?
I think so with the linesman, but I think it's always been that even before VAR. I think the linesmen, they don't have as much weight.
I mean, the referee as well. I mean, as a whole, officiating through on the ground level.
Well, possibly. I mean, I think I would hope that the referee just acts on instinct, because refereeing is a lot of instinct. Yes, they will get things wrong. We have to accept that. That's part of that is really part of the game, whether you've got VAR or not. But say, "Oh, let that go because someone's going to look back at it." That's no good, because what happens if the passage of play goes, we don't get the penalty, the passage of play continues, all of a sudden Phillips gets sent off in that passage of play that should have been stopped. Do you then rescind the yellow card?
I've read you don't. No,
exactly, because VAR can't officiate over yellow cards. So we should have had a penalty. So in that case, we could have had a penalty, but Phillips could have also got sent off because the game continues. That sort of bit is a. They've had this in the Bundesliga.
It would have been a pen, and the yellow would have been rescinded.
No, I've read it wouldn't be. I've read the yellow card would still apply.
No,
but I could be wrong.
No, you. Because this is where technology has got a trouble in football, isn't it? Because this is why it's taken so long for this to come through, because it doesn't really suit it. But certainly, if that was given a pen, that yellow would have been rescinded. I've seen that in the Bundesliga this season.
I could be wrong,
but because the passage of play stopped at that point. Yeah, quite possibly. But VAR doesn't. So Phillips yesterday, the second one was soft. He's tried to pull out. It's one of those where it's caught him on he's tried to control it on his thigh, hasn't he? And it's just got away from him. He's pulled out the tackle. The guy's followed through. These should not be those sort of ones should not be yellow cards. It's just two people going for the. Otherwise, you don't end up tackling anybody. And it's not sour grapes. I mean, they've been given, they get given, and they don't get given. But the trouble is, you can't. I don't think you can refer yellow card decisions to VAR. Because of the red. So even on a. So again.
No, exactly. No,
for a double yellow, why shouldn't they? Because they were given a red card.
Yeah.
So should there be something in the protocol that says, well, we need to refer that? Was it clear and obvious? Would it have been overturned? I don't know. But, you know, Clark last week, Harry Clark, you know, would the second yellow have been overturned because he got a bit of the, was there enough doubt to get the ball? If the referee's position is clear and obvious, then maybe. And if Clark thinks he's got the ball, if I go back to my point about having a referral, he could go back and say, well, I just played the ball. And then they use their one referral.
The coaches challenge, as they call it in the NFL.
Yeah, the coaches challenge,
the Premier League.
Get a little red flag, throw it onto the pitch, and then
what you should do is email Mark Ashton to say, when you do call Howard Webb next, this is the idea I've got.
This is the way forward.
Well, Hamish is saying you're correct, mine, but I'm pretty certain I've seen this in the book. Why would you, if you're going back to give a penalty that was before the incident of the red card, why would you be down to 10 men? That doesn't make any sense to me. I'm pretty certain I've seen in the Bundesliga this. Pretty certain I've seen it. I could be wrong. We'll have to go back and do some research.
It's a bit like an offside, isn't it? It's a bit like if someone's offside, but they let the play go, ball gets crossed into the box, someone goes to head of the ball in, and someone, a centre back punches the ball over the crossbar and gets a red card. You would pull it back I guess before they gave the red card, you should pull it back, and the lines with the flag says offside. So you check the offside. So as long as you check the offside or the foul or whatever it is before you issue the red card, if he's onside, then the referee should then send the centre back off who's doing his Superman bit.
What I think is going to happen this week is the Premier League will contact the club and will probably sign a press release saying Premier League have apologised to Kieran McKenna and his staff because they didn't give the penalty. Who knows? You might see something like that this week.
The way I see it is that obviously the passage of play isn't over until VAR interjects or the game is stopped. So that passage of play would have included Phillips's challenge. That's why Phillips would still walk, because that passage of play wasn't over because the referee hadn't given it. At this point, it would have come from above. So the passage of play isn't over until VAR interjects and the game is stopped because of that interjection. That's how I view it. That's how I read it. That's how I looked at it. That's how I saw it. Might be wrong. Probably am wrong. But it's more like that offside there. That's a very interesting one because I don't think the passage of play really is over until the referee blows his whistle for the offside. So you would theoretically possibly still be in a situation where that player could still be sent off. Because that passage of play isn't over.
There's no way that Ipswich could be given a penalty and go down to 10 men. It's ludicrous.
Only Ipswich can, though. Only Ipswich can be. Like they could. Here's your lottery ticket and here's your tax bill. Like only Ipswich down.
I'm pretty certain I've seen it in the Bundesliga this season that overturned. I'm pretty certain.
Yeah, you would hope that the decision, like the offside one or the foul, you would hope that VAR would intervene and say, like, before you said, all the ref's got to do is say, go and speak on the mic and say, I'm now about to send this player off. Is there any doubt in the passage of play before I do it? That's all that's got to happen.
Yeah.
And the VAR will go, no, everything's clear and fine, send him off. And that. So but again, it's all confusing, isn't it? We're talking about discretionary decisions, whichever way it goes, whether you're using VAR or not. Yeah. Everything that we've had that was gone against us has been down to a discretion. It's not been clear cut. The one last week where their second goal or the first goal, the second one, where they had the VAR check for offside. Brilliant. It's not a goal. I mean, it's a goal. That's fine. That's fine. But
you've got the automated ones coming in soon, the automated offside will come, which I think will be very good because then again you got using tech to make very quick decisions. There's nothing, there's nothing. But this is all very slow and very confusing.
Yeah, and the rest of it can just go. It's just a waste. But such a shame yesterday because the atmosphere was great. The game was really intense. It was a great game. We've dominated pretty much most of it until the 15 minutes either side. So an hour we've been by far the best team. What a great goal!
Even for more than that, I think we were the better side. For most of the game.
Yeah, I know it's not the case, but I sat there around people, and when after the sending off, And when it was getting towards the time where they were going to, you know, put up the extra time, I just said, you get that feel that the referee was just going to play until they scored. You just got that impression in the game.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Really,
Yeah,
I know
vibe,
it wouldn't be the case as such, but I just said,